Coming at you live from my home studio in beautiful La Puente, California. This is All Dodgers Live. Part of the Believe network of podcasts. What is going on, Clint Nation? Happy Monday. On today's show, hey, I'm back. Not Shohei, but I'm back. I'm back from Arizona. I'm a little red. I'm a little burnt, but that's fun. Shohei Ohtani's not friend. Blake Snell. Got to slow it down. This is exciting time because Blake Snell, I don't know if it's exciting, but he's a giant. We're going to react to him finally being off the market and adding a little bit of, I don't know, I guess a little bit more legitimacy to this San Francisco Giants. Also exciting, this week, Dodgers games count. We'll talk a little bit about thoughts on Korea so far, other Dodgers notes, news, all that kind of fun stuff, plus the good, the bad, and the ugly of Spring Training 2024 on another edition of All Dodgers Live. I am, of course, Clint Pasillas. You guys can find me as Real FRG on Twitter, on Instagram. I'm a longtime baseball writer, sports editor, and I have been I'm covering your Los Angeles Dodgers here on my All Dodgers YouTube channel. Consider giving this video a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up if you do not like Blake Snell being a Giant. Give it a thumbs up if the Dodgers are going to win 150 games this year. Subscribe to the channel. That's something that really helps out the channel as well as commenting on the show as it happens. If you are watching live, drop into the comments. Drop into live chat. Let's have some fun talking about this signing, this big MLB blockbuster news, and of course, Dodger baseball. I want your guys' thoughts. If you can't watch live, this is a show that is on Apple. It's on Spotify. If you're watching or listening there, consider giving the show a nice rating and review if you can. Two last little quick things. We're on Patreon. If you want to find another way to support the channel, check it out on Patreon, patreon.com/realfrg. There's a couple little perks in there. Still trying to, make the perks more fun, more exciting for folks. But for now, if it's a different way you're looking to support the channel, I'd appreciate it if you do check it out. And one final thing. Huge news coming on Monday. Follow me on Twitter for a massive announcement on Monday morning. But let's talk Blake frickin' Snell. Snell goes to the San Francisco, the Giants. The report comes just minutes before going live, so I had to pause going live a little bit to recreate or reconfigure the top of the show here. 2-year, $62 million deal with San Francisco. This comes according to John Heyman. It's a $15 million deal this year, and he gets apparently a $17 million signing bonus, but that's not coming until 2026, which to me sounds a lot like it's deferred. So clearly the Giants are ruining baseball. I think we can all agree on the fact the San Francisco Giants are ruining baseball with a deal like this. But let's react. Let's get some thoughts. I haven't even talked to you guys on the chat yet, so that's what we're here to do. We're here to talk in the chat. Let me center the camera even better. OCD going off. Nando390 is the first comment I see. Always appreciate my guy Nando390 being in the chat saying, Snell signed with the Giants for the money and not winning. Oh. That is a huge point. That is already awarding points right off the top of the show there, because that's 1,000% accurate. I think I saw somewhere, I wrote it down here, according to our friends at Foul Territory, and I think this came via John Heyman as well. The Astros and the Yankees obviously were very in on the Blake Snell free agency on his market, but they balked at the idea of passing that $30 million per year price tag, even if it was going to be for 1 year. But there are concerns for teams for sure. If it is 1 year, there is a draft pick attached to somebody like Blake Snell, and he's not going to start the season right away, considering he's signing just a week before opening day. Nando390 also says Snell turned down $152 million for $62 million, and one number is greater than the other. Denny Cortez in the chat, appreciate Denny hanging out with us, says Giants schmiants, and you know what? That's just another. Let's give that a man, because why not? I agree. Giants schmiants. Mike Boyer says the hope is 152 wins and only 10 losses for the Dodgers. I guess this is also a Dodger show on occasions. Sean Allen says the Giants still going to be watching the playoffs from home. Oh, yes. Yes, they are. Showtime LA in the chat says Snell, Webb, Harrison is pretty good trio at the top. Also talking about Gavin Lux and Gavin Stone looking great in Korea and you know, doing Dodger baseball stuff. We'll talk about Dodger baseball in a second. I did see Eric asking how many Modelo's for St. Patrick's Day. 0 Modelo's for St. Patrick's Day. It was all green margaritas. Mouth was very green for margaritas, but it is a Modelo Monday. I'm out of Modelo in the fridge. Got to restock, but it is a Coors Light Monday for y'all. Abstract saying the Dodgers could have signed Blake Snell. We talked about this a lot. I think we had a whole stream where we were talking about the idea of the Dodgers signing Blake Snell and kind of not even slowly, kind of rapidly convincing ourselves into the fact like, hey, this probably isn't a terrible idea. Of course not. You're adding the reigning Cy Young Award winner in the National League, a 2-time Cy Young Award winner in Major League Baseball. Of course it's not a bad idea. However, when you look at the financials, you look at what this team had already, I think it was, personally, I would rather see them work out with what they got. See what this pitching staff can do. You got Yamamoto, you got Glasnow, you got Miller, who looked great. Who I shouldn't even say looked great. He looked perfectly perfect. As I spit at the camera, perfectly perfect this spring. Because I don't want to put too many expectations, but big year coming for Bobby Miller, and of course Walker Buehler, not that far away. A little bit of a Buehler update we'll probably touch on later, but he's hitting 97 through 3 innings over the weekend. Emmett Sheehan's not that far away. Gavin Stone's looked really good. Clayton Kershaw is going to be a guy at some point in time. Maybe, most likely not, but maybe a Dustin Miller. You got a lot of pieces. Hey, I didn't even mention James Paxton. As nice as it would be to have somebody like Blake Snell, I don't know, the gambler in me is interested in seeing what the top 5 to top 7 the Dodgers already have in the organization as starting pitchers, what they can do at this point. Christian Gomez was in the chat a little bit earlier saying Clint Nation is coming at you live. Yes, we are. Iris K, great comment here saying Boris really screwed the pooch this offseason. I'll tell you, as I choke on my own existence, your guy, Scott Boras, did not have himself a very good offseason. Still got a few guys out there as well on the free agent market. Old friend JD Martinez still looking for a job. I will say with this deal, and as long as Blake Snell was available, my God, did Artie Moreno, Angels owner Artie Moreno, really fumble the bag again, much like, I don't know if it's fumbling the bag for Scott Boras. It's more of an embarrassing offseason. Trust, he will be fine moving forward, Scott Boras. But, you have your superstar. Artie Moreno has a superstar, Mike Trout, begging ownership. Go make some signings. Make this team better. You have the GM begging the owner to let him spend. You have the manager you just brought in to kind of right the ship that has been bad for a while, saying, I really hope we make some signings. 2-year deal, $62 million. That's just barely a hair more than what they paid Shohei last year, if we're looking at just the 1 year. So, I mean, Blake Snell would have made them Halos a lot better of a team, but now he makes the Giants that much better of a team. And they needed some help for sure, especially on the pitching side of things, starting pitching side of things for sure. Let's see what else we got here. Let me scroll down here. Oh, I see.
Excuse.
Wrong button, but I see our friend Bob Nightingale in the chat with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Bob Nightingale, our friend, saying, can't wait to hear how bummed Snell sounds at his presser. Yeah, he's gonna be, I'll say a little bit interesting. It'll be interesting to hear what this dude has to say about not a very good offseason. My guy Zed in the chat, what's going on? Zed said, enjoy that 4+ ERA with the Giants. Snell, I mean, historically, which he's only won one Cy Young in the past before, and then he kind of had a couple of down years before having a really, really good year last year with the Padres. Maybe that's his thing. Maybe he just needs to not have job security, pitch year to year, and all of a sudden he'll just be putting up Cy Youngs left and right or something like that. But, not exactly I mean, it's kind of mixed, but not. I wouldn't say Oracle Park is the most pitcher-friendly park in the world, just because there is a lot of grass out there, a lot of dinkers, a lot of singles that can find some grass for sure. Mr. John Rod 77 in the chat saying Snell will be semi-okay next year. This year is his down year. Maybe. We'll see. I mean, for his sake, I hope he has a decent year. I've said it on different streams in the past. If the opponents in the National League West are better, I think it makes the Dodgers that much better in the long run. But Sarah Morris is glad that she did not preview the Giants yet. Guys, check out Sarah's stuff. By the way, Sarah writes online still. I think it's at Sarah's place. Sarah, drop your stuff there in the chat, and we'll try to get some folks on your page there. Stephen Munoz asking, when am I gonna make some car decals so we can wrap the podcast? That's a good idea. Might be something. Let me work on some stuff. Ed Rivera coming in hot with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate you, Ed. Clint asking Clint, who do you think pitches at Dodger Stadium opener, Yamamoto or Glasnow? The Dodger Stadium opener, I think they're still lining up for it to be Tyler Glasnow. Gives him that opportunity to pitch in front of the home crowd. He grew up in LA, he went to Dodger Stadium as a kid, and now it's kind of a full circle moment for him there. But we got 925 Antioch, California rap. I don't know. I'm assuming that is a Giants fan. Appreciate you hanging out with us, saying we're going to beat you guys this year. Good luck. I mean, anything is possible, I guess, but I want to know what that guy's drinking for sure. Kevin Uhas in the chat saying, I'm sure he's got an opt-out after this year, too. Those contract years really make you sharp. Yeah, there's definitely going to be definitely some opt-outs in there. We know how that works. But when you look at the entirety of Scott Boris's offseason with his biggest guys, two of them, of course, go to the Giants with Blake Snell, with Matt Chapman, both of them taking deals well below what they were asking. You had Blake Snell coming into this offseason seeking over $200 million, settles for 62 guaranteed. Matt Chapman was looking for something in the 150 range. I think he turned down $150 million offer from the Blue Jays. He settles on $54 million, and of course, Cody Bellinger was another guy that wanted $200+ million. Ends up settling on 80 guaranteed, and essentially it's going to be a 1 year with another opt-out situation. So, man, I would love to be Scott Boras. Dude's got bank, but also I would not be very envious of Scott Boras at this juncture of the offseason. But that's the big news of the day of Monday as I come back from Arizona. I appreciate you guys giving me, I said I was going to do stuff. I hoped on doing stuff. The itinerary just left me no time to do any sort of content while I was out there. There was too much drinking, way too much traffic in Arizona these days. Arizona, fix yourself. What's going on here? I thought I left LA to get to Arizona and watch some baseball, but did see Yoshi Yamamoto, Mr. Yamasan, make his final tune-up before his debut start against the Padres. Was a mixed bag. It was good. It was bad. It wasn't necessarily bad, but couldn't complete 5 innings, gave up 4 earned runs, did strike out 7, walked only 1, but a little mix, which I think is kind of the story of his spring training. But we'll get to that more later on in the show as we get into the good, the bad, and the ugly of the Dodger spring training 2024. But let's kind of catch up. I have been gone for a week. Didn't do a show, didn't do a stream for a week. Opening day is pretty much here. The Dodgers have played 2 more fake games. They eventually have 3 more fake games when they come back to LA. But what did we miss while I was gone? The Dodgers traveled to Korea. Some of the players tried food on camera, which was a thing. We got to see Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and Shohei Ohtani make lovey-dovey eyes at each other and make each other laugh, which we always enjoy. Dodgers are 2-0 against Kiwoom and Team Korea, which you love to see. The Kiwoom game, absolute blowout, 14-0. Freddie Freeman mad that he had to play the whole game because you're not allowed to bring that many players over to Korea. But we did miss some little roster stuff because I like to just cover as many of the things that I can. And I've talked so much about Justin Wilson on the show, it feels like, over the last 2 weeks. I should bring up, hey, he opted out of his deal. You guys already know this, but he opted out of his deal, signed with the Reds, $1.5 million guaranteed deal. I was hoping he'd get a longer look, from the Dodgers, but I think his path or his opportunity to playing time changed when Daniel Hudson kind of declared himself ready to go. He's ready to roll. He's added to the 40-man roster over the weekend. Unless something magically changes, he's going to be on that opening day roster. It seems one of the 26. One of the guys I said last week that would be the most likely to be DFA'd, that Andre Lipsius guy, he is DFA'd. We'll see if he's able to hang in the organization or not. Probably not, but also part of the Hudson roster circus day, the Dodgers option Miguel Vargas to AAA, and this is all old news. I'm just kind of catching up here. To me, that reads Gavin Lux, it's not at all a surprise, but Gavin Lux is guaranteed for that opening day roster, which again, not at all a surprise. If Gavin Lux was somehow not going to be included on the opening day roster, Vargas definitely would have been the next guy in line, in my opinion. But I will say, credit where credit is due. Gavin seems to be settling down, seems to be settling in over these last couple of days, few games and exhibitions and all that. Really just in Korea, maybe the change of scenery helped. My thought is, now the more that I think about it, I wonder if the more that focus seems to be on we'll call it possibly crazy idea of Mookie Betts playing shortstop. So much of the media attention now is less about, they're moving, but it's like, oh my God, they're putting Mookie Betts at shortstop, and everybody has an opinion on that, of course, same as I. But with all of that focus right now on Mookie rather than Gavin, it's kind of letting him fly under the radar and find a little bit of a groove. So shout out to Gavin. Just keep doing your thing with the bat. He's had a hell of a spring. He's definitely had a hell of a spring. So I guess in that regard, he's earned his opportunity. I'll still say I would prefer to see Miguel Rojas as a shortstop and Mookie Betts at second base, but that's not the plan. So you got to work with what we got, and this is what is going to be happening. Final note, I did mention, I think on the last show, that Kyle Hurt most likely not going to get that opening day roster spot. Seems like the script is kind of flipped according to Dave in that regard. He says, quote, nothing definitive yet, but given the need that the team has while they're out there in Korea, certainly makes sense. Of course, he's somebody who, according to Dave, can get left-handed batters out, get right-handed batters out, and he can give you some length and go short burst, 1 or 2 innings if needed. So there is your little bit of a mini sort of update on roster things. Let's get a few thoughts in here as Jenny Vega brings up a really, really good point to hit that like button, guys. Oop, I double pushed the button. But I think that's a smart idea. Hit the subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. Those are things that really do help out the channel. I promise you that. And it's completely free just to subscribe to the channels. Find a few more comments in here. People, look at the family is all here. Craig's in the chat. Jenny's in the chat. What is going on, guys? One-Eyed Dragon is questioning autocorrect. I don't know what we're at right there, but I think I saw, yes, from Mr. John Rod 77, a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Mr. John Rod, asking, should we be concerned about Yamamoto's inconsistency this spring, or is he just trying out different things? It looks like you're also having some trouble with the autocorrect, so I understand that one, but I was able to read it because synergy. I don't think we should be concerned. So I'm actually going to do a full video on this to drop tomorrow, maybe around noon or something, or maybe a little bit later. So keep an eye out on the YouTube channel. But Dave Roberts today said that they are going, the front office, or more so the coaching staff, is going to work on putting together more of a game plan, establishing more of a game plan for him, as opposed to kind of letting him fly by the seat of his own pants, which, not to say that they were, but at the beginning of spring training, one of the things that Yamamoto had mentioned was like, yeah, I'm going to use a pitch comm. I'm going to call on my own pitches, which I was not a fan of. I personally think the Dodgers have built up some sort of, credit when it comes to the coaching staff and the catchers, putting together a really, really good game plan. And, they've led the league in ERA or been in the top 3 most years except last year. So I'm not necessarily overly worried about Yoshinobu Yamamoto just yet. I think Yama-san is just getting settled in. I think he's kind of learning that this league is a little bit different, even if he's playing with, not always superstars, or facing always superstars in spring training. It's a very different league. It's a very different style. And, that high 95 with maybe a little less movement doesn't play as well as, something that the Dodgers have put together based on batters. I will say, check out the guys over at Dodger Blue 1958 here on YouTube. They posted the interview, Dave's, I think it was last night's or game 2, the one before Team Korea. They had the Dave Roberts pregame presser where Dave kind of addressed the Yoshinobu Yamamoto situation. And Dave did one of those things where he obviously wanted to say more than he said, but, he just kind of didn't, but eventually got to the point where he was saying like, hey, I would like to see, him use more or adjust to this league and kind of develop a game plan. Not necessarily a better game plan, but, a game plan. So again, not very worried about Yamamoto at this time. Guys, go ahead and share this video, by the way. We got to talk about your Dodgers right now. We're barely talking Dodgers. We spent 20 minutes or so on Blake Snell because that's a thing. Sarah Moore says Yamamoto needs to adjust, and this short spring did not help him. That's a really good point there. You gotta give him a little bit more time there to sort of figure some damn things out. And 3 starts, not quite enough. His next start, almost going to feel like a spring training start, but it's not. It counts against the Padres there in Korea. Got built up to 73 pitches in his last start, so he should be, for all intents and purposes, ready to go full bore in this next start. And they have a very, very stacked bullpen and, a week before their next game. So I don't even want to see him trying to go for, or, pitching into the 5th inning if he doesn't need to. Just kind of kamate, let him get settled into the league, face the Padres one time, and then start getting some things figured out. Take advantage of the opportunity you have right now with some time and with more pitchers, around. I do see... That feels loud. I do see a super chat from Richard Flores. Our guy, Richard Flores. How you doing, my guy? $9.99 super chat. Much appreciated from Richard, asking or stating, we can't understand why so many people claim the KBO Heroes looked overmatched and outclassed in their 14-3 loss. We thought they looked great. Sincerely, the Oakland A's. Oh, we got an A's burn? We got an A's burn here on a all Dodgers live show where we're talking about Blake Snell signing with the Giants. This is an all baseball show, guys. It was always meant to be. It was always meant to be. Thank you, Richard, for the super chat. But let's talk a little bit more about the Korea series here, or at least the 2 that we've already seen so far. The team has been out there in Korea for a few days, and all in all, the vibes seem high in Korea. Also, you guys watching these games or watching some of the highlights online, like how fun are these KBO games? How fun is the KBO atmosphere? You also see the same thing, same thing going on in the Japanese league as well. Dave Roberts and Tyler Glasnow spoke about it. I think James Outman was in there as well. They said they're big fans of the show that the KBO puts on. Of course, we had the beer chugging contest, which that reminds me. You got cheerleaders in there. I kind of get the feeling it's an imperfect comp, but I get that feeling of like a really, really good minor league team, a minor league game, but with like a bigger budget. They got more money to spend on the pomp and the circumstance and the flair out there in in KBO and all that. But I see my guy Kevin Skinner saying baseball needs better in between inning stuff, and these ballparks, they can still market like a beer chugging contest. They can still market everything else. I don't think any of this stuff is necessarily not family friendly. So, like, figure it out, baseball. Get it a little more excitement out there for the fine folks trying to support your product. Appreciate Jenny dropping the Patreon link in the chat, by the way. Of course, patreon.com/realfrg if you want to find a bonus way to support the show. It's a voicemail hotline. I don't know if I'm going to keep any of these things behind like a paywall much longer. Maybe I'll just open it up to everybody. But either way, it's a nice way to, show your support, and still figuring out some of the little things back there. But vibes aside for this team and for where we're at right now, trips like these that we've kind of seen in baseball, or situations where a group of dudes, a group of players, a group of whatever, group of people, because in this case it's also the families. Like, they got their plus ones or their plus twos or threes or whatever it is. You get the players, you get the families, you get the coaches, you get the coaching staff, the front office. Everybody's together. And you're on this long-ass flight. We saw it with the bubble championship in 2020, the kind of camaraderie that that team gathered just through that experience alone. It feels to me like these experiences are great. And now we're talking about them being great for early team bonding. And yeah, a lot of this team has been together for the last at least season, a couple of seasons, we'll say with some of them, but there are some new faces. You got a Teoscar Hernandez, you got this guy Shohei Ohtani, there's a Yamamoto in there. There's some different faces, and everyone is going to kind of learn to love each other real quick, or at least learn each other's little quirks and cadences and whatever the hell it is, things that make them tick. And then you have fun with it. Luckily, this is a team that has Jason Hayward, noted clubhouse guy, like absolute professional clubhouse guy that can bring some dudes together. Freddie Freeman, phenomenal at that. Mookie doesn't probably get the love and respect for his ability to command a clubhouse, but still pretty damn good at that as well. Mookie did speak about that. I think it was today. I saw it in the internet machine. He says, quote, "I think it's definitely a team building thing, team chemistry thing, walking around together, eating breakfast together, being in the hotel together. We're all learning the culture. I think it's super cool," which is about the most excitement you're going to get out of Marcus Lynn Betts. We know chemistry is built best from winning. So far, the Dodgers have done very, very good at that part of the baseball journey as well. But I'm excited to see these real, I guess we'll call them, games in Korea, actual games that count on the calendar, count in the standings. Hopefully it's not a split. Hopefully the Dodgers find a way to sweep the Padres and, come back home with some semblance of being on the right track, or putting more of those demons of postseasons past behind them, because this is going to be we'll call it a raucous, if I'm even pronouncing that right, raucous? It's going to be a rowdy atmosphere over there at the, Gochuk Arena. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy as shit there at the ballpark with two major league teams, one plus the Padres, playing each other in a meaningful game. So you win, you build chemistry, and then you have a happy, very long flight back home to LA, where next the Dodgers play a few fake games against the Angels who did not, sign Blake Snell, but that's a whole other thing. Artie, you suck. Whoever gets swept, though, if there's somebody who gets swept in that series, I'll tell you what, it will not be a happy flight at all. Let's get into some more of the comments here. I see Mr. Classic just dropped a comment right now saying D-Mac having the time of his life in Korea. Shout out to my guy, Doug McCain, hardest working man in show business sometimes. Sometimes now. He's a great one. I'm happy he's out there in Korea living the life with his family out there. That's pretty cool. Good things like that usually didn't happen at that place back in my day, but it's good to see things like that happening now. Aaron asking how many beers have I had? I've had, a third of a Coors Light, so none. Just saying words and talking fast. Voice is a little hoarse. I was at spring training, screaming. What, do you want me to be slower? Is this too fast for you? I think you could turn it to like half speed. Nah, I'm just messing with you. My guy, Aaron, I have no idea who he is, but appreciate the comment in here, of course. Let's see what else we got here. Aaron also asking about Lux. Let's see. If Lux continues to hit, he's going to stay at second. I'd say give him a few weeks, and if he's still making errors, then move Mookie to second and Rojas to short. Not an earth-shattering take, but one that works. It's a good take. It's a good point. I've said it a few times on the show in recent weeks, and we'll say months. What we see on opening day or even opening day 2.0 in LA is not necessarily what we're going to see in May or September. They have time. They have time to kind of figure some things out. And if Lux figures it out, cool. If Mookie can't really handle the position, something will happen. Something will change. But I will say, we'll take Mookie over Gavin Lux. And I don't know that they try to move Lux back. That would be tough. That would be a tough situation where they try to get Lux back at short, slide him back over at some point in time. Without like a rehab assignment or something like that. I don't see it happening this year, but anyways, as long as he keeps hitting, they'll definitely figure that one out. Let's see, Metabolic Holic, bringing up the good point that Blake Snell has been reunited with Mel, Mr. Bob Melvin, former manager of the San Diego Padres, who was unceremoniously removed-ish from that job and signed a 3-year deal with the Giants. Well, now they're back together. And, there was a good partnership last year, it seemed. There's no issues there. Snell was at his best when he was throwing to Gary Sanchez, but Gary Sanchez won't be there, so that's it. The more Padres covered the Padres last year. Anyways, let's see what else we got here. Stuff and things. More love from Jenny for the Patreon on there. I always appreciate that. IB Stroking has joined the chat. Says, what up, fam? What up, Clint? Tapping in from our state's capital tonight. Right on. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Of course, IB Stroking. Mr. Classic got some thoughts on Yamamoto, saying he's not ready yet. I mean, he's going to have to be ready. They don't have very many pitchers to kind of buy him time. That's one of the concerns we kind of realize with maybe the Dodgers wanting the Dodgers to sign Blake Snell, because if like one dude doesn't work out, then there's kind of a pretty stark fall off. I'll say on the Gavin Stone thing, like Gavin Stone was named, I didn't mention it here, who was named the fifth starter, which is, we knew that was going to happen. Officially named, had himself a hell of a spring training. Dave Roberts trying to be a hype man for Mr. Gavin Stone. But we also saw Stoner have a really, really good spring training last year. Struck out like 14 and walked 1 in whatever it was, 7 or 8 innings. And then just absolutely, shit all over the bed. I think this is better. I think this is a better version of Gavin Stone. I think it's a more polished Stone. Dave even kind of, mentioned that much in his most recent press conference about it after Stoner's final tune-up. This is a kid that's got to be ready. He's 24 now, 25? But if he doesn't work out and Yamamoto doesn't work out, then they're in a pretty tough situation. And then I see Mr. Classic talking about James Paxton, and then Paxton is probably not somebody that's getting you more than 140 innings this season. So there's got to be some coverage, and you got to this team just needs to buy itself some time to get to a healthy Sheehan, a healthy Buehler. If you can make it into May, this team will be perfectly fine. Even buying some time with a few opening starts or whatever. Yeah, the opener. I mean, we'll see Gavin, or what's his name? Michael Grove make a few spot starts in there. Would not be surprised to see Kyle Hurt get a spot start or two in there in April, just to buy a little bit more time. But let's move on a little bit, as I do remind you to push it again, mash that thumbs up button. Do consider subscribing to the channel. These are all things that really, really do help out the channel. So let's talk the good, the bad, and the ugly of spring training 2024, at least in my opinion. There's not very much bad. There's not very much ugly. I would say there's the good and the mid, and they could have done that better, but that doesn't roll off the tongue as well. The Dodgers do go 13-5 in Cactus League play. That's the best winning percentage in Cactus League play. Of course, they haven't played as many games. They did take off from Arizona after Wednesday's game. The good for me is, I'll say it again, Gavin Stone. He's right up there with the best in baseball. He had, I think he struck out like another 14 or 17 batters, whatever the hell it was. I should have probably pulled up the numbers here, but I did not. So let me do that now. Let me double check what Gavin Stone's final numbers were. This is the hard part. It's a one-man show here. This is what we do. But where is it at? Where I know you're there. There it is. Over 3 game starts. He 4 total appearances. He didn't start all of them. Over 10 or 9.2 innings, 9 2/3 innings, nailing this. Gives up just 1 run, 9 strikeouts. There it is, 9 strikeouts. Last spring, that's the number I had in my head. Last spring was much better. He was, or at least when it comes to the strikeout ball. But this spring looks a lot more polished. And the important thing is, like, the changeup, in my opinion, has looked better. Last year it was just kind of like dropped off the table. A changeup needs to stay in the zone a little bit more. But we're not going to talk like, I'm not pitching ninja here. So summarize it a little bit more. Gavin Stone, very, very nice spring. I think it's worth shouting out Michael Grove, who it took him a bit to find a groove. But he's kind of earned this last bullpen spot. I don't know if you want to call it the last bullpen spot, but he will be on the opening day roster in Korea. He's earned it. However long he gets that spot, you don't know. Guys are going to be chasing down that last bullpen spot real quick. Somebody like Brusdar Graterol is going to be looking for a spot when he's healthy back here stateside. Definitely earned it. Looked good. Earned that spot on the Korea series roster. Another guy who's been absolutely great, Tyler Glasnow, the kind of looking like the prize pitching acquisition of the spring. You got Glass giving up a run over 10 innings, just 4 hits, strikes out 14, and walks just 3. If you're trading for a guy and you give up some pretty, well-regarded prospects, and then you sign him to a pretty lucrative contract extension, that's a pretty good way to get off on the right foot, giving up a run over 10 innings and earning his spot as the opening day starter. So Glasnow, good. Gavin Stone, Michael Grove, good. Max Muncy, all around, also part of the good. Despite taking like a little bit of a beating early on, he's powered through it. And he's put together a hell of a spring on both sides of the baseball. He's got a little bit of power, but he's getting on base. He's hitting the ball better, and he's defending the ball. He's picking the ball, and he's showing off a pretty freaking strong enough arm, if I do say so. Burp myself. Anyways, I did see here a super chat. There it is. From IB Strokin. Thank you, IB Strokin. $20 super chat. What the hell? Just saying, smash the like button for Clint and for our Dodgers fam in Korea. Thank you very much, IB Strokin. $20 super chat. Legend here on All Dodgers Live and on the All Dodgers YouTube channel. Appreciate all shapes and sizes of super chats on the show. I don't know. I'm just saying words right now because I'm uncomfortable when people do that. I don't know how to deal with people doing nice things. All right, so we talked about the good. Let's talk about the bad. There's not much bad, and it's not really bad per se. But again, because there is not much bad, we'll call out Yoshinobu Yamamoto. ERA over 8, just under 8.5. Not a huge deal. I don't think it's a huge deal in the long run. We've talked enough. We've already talked enough about Yoshi in this stream. Again, this is really just a show of, like, not much was bad for the Dodgers this spring. I mean, really, realistically, an 8 ERA looks bad, but he was also, like, really, really dominant when not giving up runs, which I guess is how baseball works in reality. But got to shout out Yoshi for having not the greatest of starts to a spring, and I think once the Dodgers kind of get their hands on him a little bit more, he gets more acclimated, more adjusted. I don't think it's a situation where, you know, there's the talk of it's a different baseball and the grip and all this kind of stuff, because the stuff has looked good. The stuff has looked really, it's looked sharp. It's looked like he's able to hit his spots. It just also looks at times a little hittable, and I think people who have been in this league for longer can help him kind of guide those pitches into better quadrants, I guess we'll say, against the correct hitters. As I think I saw our guy Swellin' Sausage join the chat. What's going on, Swellin' Sausage? Another one of the things I will say is bad, just because I saw it today and it grinded my gears a little bit, is the MLB power rankings dropped per MLB.com today. And the Dodgers not number one, despite having a really, really good spring. Second best record in winning percentage in baseball, in all of baseball this spring. All the moves, all the star power, all the very clear amount of pieces put together to trudge on towards a championship season. Not number one. Dodgers not number one. Feels literally insane to me that the Dodgers are not number one, according to MLB.com. No, it is the Braves. Braves better in this situation. Don't get me wrong, Atlanta, very, very formidable club. They have star power. They've done it. They've been there. They've had the same kind of issues over the last few seasons as the Dodgers, as in being very good and then having a long layoff and then getting beat by a team that happened to get hot at the right time. But the Dodgers just have so much firepower up and down that lineup. You know, I speak ill of Gavin Lux at times, I'll say, at times. But also, Gavin Lux is hitting ninth for this team on most nights. You have all-stars up and down the lineup. You got MVPs. Teoscar Hernandez was added to the lineup. Meanwhile, you don't know if, you know, Ronald Acuna is going to be able to stay healthy for the entire season. Then again, you could say that for every player or any player on any team, but he already had a flare-up of a knee issue kind of knock him out of some games. He's back. He's playing. He played yesterday. It seemed like it was not an issue for him playing in the outfield. But still, I don't know. I would do like a 1A, 1B, but you can't do that. And, you know, at MLB.com got what they wanted. They got some vitriol out of me in their power rankings, and that's the whole point of power ranking, to piss people off. They don't tell you that, but I'll tell you, that's what they're for. So we got the good, we got the bad, and I'll leave you with one ugly, because there was not very much ugly to this spring, but one guaranteed ugly was the whole shortstop saga. Got very public, got very loud, it got very national. Dave Roberts probably should have handled it better, because it went that 3-day stretch where it was like, Gavin's our guy, to I don't know, to Mookie's our guy. It's could have been done better, and that's kind of the ugliest thing. And that's, if you look at the MLB.com article about the power rankings, that's one of the things they brought up. It's like, hey, there's uncertainty at shortstop. You got Mookie Betts moving over there. Maybe that's a bit much to move Mookie to short for somebody who has throwing yips, but whatever it is, what it is. You don't handle something right, it gets blown up in the media, and that's just kind of the situation that happened. But there's your good, your bad, and your ugly for me, in my opinion at least, for the Dodgers in spring. Let's get to some of the comments here, then just kind of touch on a few other things, and let's get the hell out of here for the night. It's been a long week. It's been a long week for you, boy. I'm still trying to catch up from being out in Arizona. By the way, so I was out there. I was at the that prospect breakout game, Dodgers at Angels. Very entertaining game. You saw the future kind of show up and show out. I got the chance to see the kid that they picked up, Jackson Ferris, they picked up in the Michael Busch trade. He looked pretty freaking nasty on the bump. Josue DePaula continues to hit. Dalton Rushing looking like a vet behind the plate, in my opinion. And the infield was really good all around with Gautier or Austin Gauthier, whatever you want to call him there. You got Trey Sweeney at shortstop locking it down. Again, the entire outfield was just loaded with stars, future stars, with Jose Ramos and Josue DePaula out there to really focus on them. But good show put on all around by both of those teams. The Angels were in it until they weren't, because the Angels don't really have prospects, because when they have good players, they just kind of immediately call them up. Their first baseman, Nolan Shanuel, or Shanuel, however you want to pronounce it, he was literally drafted last year and was playing first base for them last September. Logan O'Hoppe was somebody who probably would, any other club, maybe still be at like AAA or something like that. Kyron Paris is a solid dude. But anyways, very fun, very exciting. I know MLB Network showed it. The crowd, it was a little rainy out there, so the crowd wasn't the most into it, wasn't the most excited. They closed off like most of the concessions too, so MLB, do better. But that was fun. It was fun. I also did thank you guys, as requested. I was trying to post the photo, but I had really bad reception at the Dodger game when I was there on Wednesday. But I did use one of our fine viewers' super chat money to get myself an Arizona margarita. Gotta get margarita for sure. So let's see what else we got. Am I seeing that news is happening again? Are other things happening? If this thing wants to like work or whatever. No, we're still just on Blake Snell. I think it's still Blake Snell. So good. All right, we didn't break any more news during this stream, this show. But anyways, let's get into the chat more. Doom Sal's in the chat saying good evening. What's going on, Sal? Good to see you in here. DJ Jesse, our friend, saying what's up, Clint? Jesse, how you doing? Thanks for dropping into the chat. Sammy Boy Smith says number one power rankings, haven't won a World Series since 2011. I think you mean 2021. Those Bravos. One Eye Dragon says money doesn't buy championships. Ask the Yankees. You could also ask the Texas Rangers, because it kind of worked for them a little bit. Sarah Morris bringing up another good. I definitely should have put this as a good, but I also kind of fear throwing something like this out into the ethos. But Sarah says no major injuries. So didn't have to write about injuries. That's a good thing. There was no injuries this spring. So we knock on desk that continues to happen that way. Nando390 says the Braves are number one until they play the Phillies. Bruh. Appreciate that. Michael Hoffer's in the chat saying I really thought the Yankees would pivot to Snell with Garrett Cole going on the shelf for a while. I think it's going to be 1 or 2 months, they say. Wonder if they're going to pivot and try to get Jordan Montgomery, and that's the next logical decision for the Yankees, who are just they got no damn pitching there with with Cole down. And, I mean, they have pitching, but it's not really frontline pitching, you know, as my voice is getting more and more shot. Just saying that. So give me a second here. Lubricate with beer. I mean apple juice. Anyways. Oh, look at that. Super chat from Noah Ortega. Thank you, Noah, for the $1.99 super chat. Legend here in the chat saying 2025. So Sasaki, Ohtani, Glasnow, Yamamoto, Kershaw, and Miller could be a pretty potent starting rotation. You also don't know what's going to happen with Walker Buehler this offseason. I am excited about Buehler, by the way. I'm going to probably do a whole separate video about it. But Walker, over the weekend, I think I already mentioned it earlier in the show as well, he threw another bullpen session, or I think it was a live BP session, through 3 innings, got up to 97. He mentioned this on that podcast he's a part of. I think it's called Just Baseball Podcast. He's feeling good. He's feeling froggy. The expectation is that he's still going to throw in at least one of the games. Well, not at least. He's going to throw in one of the games in the Freeway Series coming up against the Anaheim Angels, whether that's in Anaheim or at Dodger Stadium. I really hope, by the way, if we're talking about Angel Stadium and Anaheim and all that, and the Dodgers being there, of course, Shohei Ohtani is now at Dodger. He used to play there, if you guys didn't know, in Anaheim for a while. I hope they just let Shohei sit out in Anaheim. I'd rather see him get his return to Anaheim in a regular season game. That's just my thoughts on it. I think he's got enough at bats already this spring. He's looking pretty damn good, sources say. So this is my 2 cents. Also, it'd be nice to see him play and give him as many standing ovations. I also worry about him getting booed, to be honest, because Orange County people are stupid. But anyways, let's move on. Swollen Sausage asking, did I go to Christie's? What is Christie's? Was that Curly's? Was that the Culver's we were talking about last year? Did go to Culver's. Did not get a burger, though. Only got a, they call them a concrete mixer, or a frozen custard. Basically, it's ice cream. It was very good. Probably the best combination I've ever put together in ice cream. So, breaking news. Let's see what else. Craig is bringing up our guy, the legendary Hunter Fiducia, who's starting to hit a little bit. Hey, you know what? It's one injury away from it being Hunter season. Just saying. Sal. Oh, I missed Sal while I was out at spring training. He was hanging out. I saw our guy, Dodgers 2080, Mr. Tim Rogers, out at spring training at the Dodger game. Hey, I'll tell you, man, my guy, Tim Rogers, that dude can work. He's out there humping and hustling, got his big-ass camera going around. Make sure you guys are following Dodgers 2080 on IG, following Tim here on YouTube as well. Bringing you some great content right now. I got some really good footage of he's getting a bunch of good, as this thing is kind of going a little wonky on me here. Some good footage of guys on the minor league backfields, and of course in-game and all that. It's my guy, Tim Rogers. But sorry I missed you, Sal. Next time, we got to know. We got to talk. Tim's got to let us know. That guy, Tim. Jenny Vega saying, yeah, Buehler is determined. I would love to see Walker Buehler just, come back and absolutely let it eat. I think, we've seen Clayton Kershaw put together a Cy Young / MVP season in a shortened season for himself in 2014 when the back was hurt as the team was coming back from Australia. I'm not saying Walker's going to do it. I'm just saying he can put together a hell of a season. Swollen Sausage says, need a few holes or they won't have anything to work on. The biggest hole is in the dugout. I believe that's just close to a Fire Dave Roberts reference, and I'll give that one a I'm not gonna give it. I'll give it that, because why not? Why not? Anyways, it's about time to probably hit the wrap it up button. But guys, the next time, Diane just made it here. Appreciate you hanging out with us, Diane. Finally, now I'm just messing around. But before we do get out of here, guys, the next time we will be talking about real Dodger baseball. My plan initially was, of course, to live stream during the game. I really don't know if that's a plan now anymore because your boy's got to be able to get some sleep. I do have work that next morning, and that's a whole thing. I will possibly figure out a way to do some of it. I don't know, but 3 a.m. is that's a pretty gnarly ask. If not that, at the bare minimum, I will live stream the domestic home opener on Friday, and that one I believe I can 100% do. So we'll figure it out. You guys let me know what you want me to do, what you want to do. Mr. John Rod says sleep is overrated. I need some sleep myself right now. You're coming back from a bender weekend. Wasn't really a bender, but But we are back. I am here. It should be mostly a normal-ish week. Gonna drop a video tomorrow about more detailed thoughts on the Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Not even a situation, but on what his future looks like. What the next few months can look like if the Dodgers do kind of, I wouldn't say break him down, but change some things for Mr. Yamamoto. And I also wanted to talk a little bit more about Shohei Ohtani again. The idea of him playing in the outfield in September was broached again. So I'll have a whole Shohei Ohtani update coming up this week and other stuff. Again, next week, next Monday. Make sure you guys are following me right there on the Twitter at RealFRG. Huge announcement coming on there. Very excited about. So that'll be cool. Keep it tubed here on the YouTube machine, guys. Hit that like button. Please do considering subscribing to the show. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. If you happen to listen. Thank you for your great questions, your comments. Thank you so damn much for the super chats. Reminder, if you are looking for a different way to support me, support the channel, and independent Dodgers coverage, check out the Patreon page. The link is in the description or also in the chat here a whole bunch. It is patreon.com/realfrg. Got to shout out our mods for doing, once again, a kick-ass job in the chat, keeping the conversation going, keeping me reminded to tell you to hit that subscribe button and all that kind of stuff. Reminder, also, again, if you guys can't watch us live, it is a podcast. Search All Dodgers Podcast with Clint Busius on iTunes, on Spotify, part of the Believe network of podcasts. Consider rating and reviewing the show there on your favorite podcast platforms if you can. I am Real FRG on all the things. The links are in the description there as well. Hope we earned a thumbs up on the way out. And I'll see you on the next one. Okay, bye. Wait, hold on. Richard Flores with the $4.99 super chat. What's going on here? Gotta say thank you, Richard, for a $4.99 super chat on the way out. Braves over Dodgers in the power rankings. Ben Verlander can't believe how wrong that is. Okay, now we're really gone. Okay, bye again.